We had a unique opportunity at the museum to bring a project like this to life because over the past 2 years we've shown a few artists who have a really unique approach to their practice. They actually go outside and are witnessing these things themselves. That is what I wanted to bring to this student group, and I wanted to kind of recreate that process for them as they created something themselves. We wanted these students to get outside and see these things taking place for themselves. We wanted to see them witnessing sea level rise. We wanted to see them witnessing the trash that is washing ashore. We wanted them to see and experience that themselves and not just walk by it in this cursory way, but like document it.
I think the most exciting thing about this particular project was the fact that we didn't know exactly where it was going. Because this whole project was being driven by their observations and their interpretation of the world, that was really like the starting place for this, because I couldn't tell them where it was going because they were kind of the captains of the ship. We were putting some general guidelines on where we thought it was going to go, but it was really their observations that were going to drive the end result. But I just liked being able to stand up in front of them and be like, this project is yours. You are deciding. I'm not telling you what you see. You're telling me what you see.
Art creates the opportunity for us to have an experience. Science tells us that we remember things better when we have a personal experience with it. Art does just that. It creates a tactile, hands-on experience.
I think that it also shows that we have a lot more in common than we think we do. All we have to do is like kind of be in the same room.
One of the things that I feel that is essential as a human is the ability to fail and to pick yourself back up and go, no, we're good. I can work with that. And that ingenuity and creativity is the essential piece, I think, to art.
Over the past 2 years, we've been working with students from Seatack Elementary and also students from the Environmental Studies program at the Brock Center. The students at Seatack started this project when they were in 4th grade and finished it in their 5th grade year. And the goal was for it to be a collaborative experience, kind of a peer-to-peer learning. We wanted to see what these two different groups of students could learn from each other.
One of the unique pieces of this particular project is that it follows the students from 4th grade through 5th grade, and it transcends where they are at right now. And no matter what's going on, one of the things that I've always been able to do is stand outside of this art room and say, hey, we are doing something so much bigger than whatever was going on before you arrived here. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna make some great art, and that's the beauty of this project, is that they are able, to just step outside of their normal role as a student and into the world of an artist and a human.
I think at this age, there's an openness. The open mind and the willingness to learn, the excitement when they walk in, they're ready to go. If you provide that space, you provide the materials and allow them to kind of run with it, you will find that they perform and succeed and achieve on their own to meet any challenge.
One of the things that is interesting about art, because I see the students normally, once a week, and our projects usually take a little bit of time, but not usually several years. And so the ability to have that faith and confidence in something that you are going to be successful, that we're going to get this together and we're going to take all these parts and pieces and we are working towards a goal and we will get there together.
The younger generation, I think that their solution is through the activity and the physical act of creating, whereas the older you get, you start to get caught in your mind or have a dialogue with other professionals about what the best way to approach something is. So once again, you're dealing with that confidence, which is already there, and they will jump at any opportunity to perform. So.
Our first step in the process was having the students make their own nature journals.
I've been an instructor at MOCA for 24 years, and they had invited me, knowing my background in bookbinding and printmaking. Coming at the possibility of a student having no experience at all, we looked for simplicity and the portability of a journal. So a Japanese binding or an accordion binding was a good solution to this challenge. My part was just being there in the moment, offering the technique, the raw materials. The variables, what happen as you approach a work of art, so often can go off the rails. In other words, folding a paper doesn't go the way that you expect. And so you don't stop at that point. An artist always pauses and reflects on how could they take that and make that into a finished piece. So it's never, like nature, something that would stop in the process. A branch breaks and the tree still grows. It just grows in a different direction. And that's what an artist does. That's the one thing in being an instructor for more than 30 years was making sure that I use a non-force approach. And what that means is by providing a safe place, and safe in meaning that you can make mistakes, the materials are there, asking questions without being embarrassed. If need be, I get down on their level or sit with them, and I'll hold something in place while they execute the work.
Starting with the project, we worked with the children on building positive relationships with nature. Many of our students here at our school, they don't get that opportunity to really build positive relationships with nature, going outside, whether there's a safety factor, whether it's just they're tied up with technology and they're not willing to go outside. At Seatack, we have beautiful things in nature like our community garden, and we start out in kindergarten and we go out and we build those positive relationships one step at a time, one garden at a time, one project at a time, and over time it teaches our children to be brave and to be risk takers and know that our environment is really a positive relationship like a friend, and know that nature will provide for us and we will provide for nature. So it's a great relationship that shows that interdependence.
The students took their journals outside to places like the Brock Environmental Center and also to the more urban setting of Virginia MOCA at the oceanfront. The Brock Environmental Center provides a space where students can witness the art of nature and also the changes that are taking place in our environment at the same time.
I think that's so important that the kids can mix science and creativity together and be able to draw things that they find interesting and be able to see the beautiful property that we have here, because I know a lot of these kids probably have never been to this place before, and it's really beautiful. It has a lot of natural beauty here.
It really combines creativity and the scientific space, which honestly aren't combined as much as I think they should be, because there are a lot of artists out there who don't really focus on nature, and then a lot of scientists who don't really focus on art, and bringing those together is a great way to not only bring two communities together, but bring the world together.
My favorite part was going outside once we finished the field journals. It was really cool to show the kids the parts of the world that I love. To see that wonder on their face made all the difference. Art provokes an emotional response, and it can help kids see parts of the environment in a different way and help motivate them to just keep it in mind as they live their lives and find beauty in it.
Our environment is slowly fading away. Interacting with our environment is not only a good source of mental health, but it's just fun in general, especially for people who like to discover things. Teaching them, especially sustainability and how to keep the environment alive, is of incredible importance.
No conversations are off limits. Finding a way to explain how the world works, because knowledge is power, and giving these kids that chance to learn and truly connect with the world, that makes all the difference.
I think it's incredibly important that kids are educated and they know what's going on in the world around them, because well-educated kids become well-educated adults.
The importance of having the teenagers work with the younger students is that it builds self-confidence. It builds the confidence of the younger student that what they're doing and the path that they're taking creatively is correct. For the teenager, it gives them confidence to stand in front of a group and present their work, or to lead, to help lead creatively in a studio space or a work environment. And so that exchange of dialogue between two people, a respectful exchange like that, I think would be the most essential thing they can all walk away from.
When we chose the fourth graders, we first looked at which group that we thought would be a great fit, and the aspect of the curriculum with the alignment of the watersheds and the environment were just perfect. But then when we felt that that grade would have a 2-year project, I noticed that the children were maturing emotionally, physically, creatively, and they were actually becoming great collaborators and communicators with each other. So sometimes arts could be so personal that they're working on that individually, but this was more than just art, it was more of a collaborative team building piece. My job gives me the ability to see the whole student and to see them develop naturally through their education in elementary school. So I'm very, very blessed and very fortunate to be able to see their gifts and strengths, to see where they are and where they're going.
At the end of the summer, we returned to the classroom with now 5th graders who were ready to jump into the next phase of their project.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for asking. How are you today?
I'm good now that I'm with all of you, so thank you for being here with me.
For year 2, we hired a teaching artist, Jasmine Brown, to join us in the Seatack classroom to help students figure out how to translate their 2-dimensional observations in their nature journals into a 3-dimensional sculpture.
A big part of my art practice, I guess, is play, and I've been playing my entire life. I've been such a destructive player. Like, it's just been really, like, I guess, a personality that I take on. All my work has to do with play, and so I would say that that's like the root of everything that I do.
When looking for a teaching artist, we wanted someone who could learn and grow with the students, and Jasmine was a perfect fit for that.
A big portion of like our first quarter was to basically get them thinking conceptually. We kind of like figured out a way to kind of make conceptual thinking more accessible, I think. Thinking about like their reflection from the year prior with like the nature journaling and going to the Brock Center and going to the beach. It's like, what are your takeaways from those experiences, and having them think about that was like a really big pivotal part of like the project, for them to kind of reflect on what their relationship with nature then and now and where it's going was a very big like hurdle that we had to overcome.
In 4th grade, the big idea was relationships, but the 5th grade big idea is change. So I like to bring in the common concept of change throughout. We are communicators, we are collaborators, we are problem solvers, and that a leader is not chosen, they choose themselves. So I want to make sure that everyone is engaged, everyone is interacting, and everyone takes part of a project, however small, however big, and what are you bringing to the table? What are you seeing for the future?
We started with a strategy called Wasserman's Play, Debrief, Replay.
So today we're going to do a strategy, my personal favorite. It's called Play, love to play, Debrief, Replay.
The students are given as many wild materials as we could think of, and just to give the chance to the students for them to explore things they would not get the opportunity to explore, and things that they were already familiar with.
So we're going to use the big idea of change, and another word we're going to use is relationship, and how materials relate and work together, just like you all. Explore and debrief. So what? Ready? Go. What do you want to do? Remember, you can move those chairs out of your way. So I wonder what you'll do with your space.
That was like the most pivotal moment where I was like, oh, this is how you can really like have the kids connect to this in a way that like is not just explaining it to them or like just talking at them, and having them like actually interact with the things and like seeing what they liked, what they didn't like, what would work, what wouldn't work. And like I think that that was like really pivotal, especially with like the play being the first part. You end up letting them play with the things, and then they kind of lead a discussion for how they want to interact with it. And this was how they decided what materials they liked, by playing with it and figuring out what felt good in their fingers and everything like that.
So I'm wondering if any of your discoveries could connect with animals, trash-free beach, body of water, change, relationships. I wonder if any of these materials could relate to any of those ideas.
It was neat to watch the children realize that they can use the felt with the clay and the different relationships between these materials. We were observing the students and interacting with them and asking them questions during this process and trying to notice what materials they were gravitating to, what they felt comfortable with, but also seemed to make sense with the project.
Once the students decided on the concept for their sculpture and the materials they wanted to use, we divided the work up among their 3 classes.
Their big thing when they were coming up with what they wanted to build and what they were thinking about was quite geographically accurate in a way, right? The trash-free beach and a lot of sea animals, and they care a lot about their environment in a way, right? Because they're on the beach. At first I was like, what if we bring the beach to us, right? What if it was a wave? Just throwing that idea out there. What if you walk through the wave? Like, what if you can like, kind of like, it's like a tunnel. And they loved that idea. They loved it. And so we kind of ran with that.
The classes worked with ceramics, with needle felting, and also recycled materials to recreate sea creatures that they wanted to represent in their sculpture.
What I hope for them is that life is not just about a standardized test, that life is about learning, of being a lifelong learner, and about appreciating where we are and how fragile our planet and our environment is, and how important they are, even that one person in 4th or 5th grader, that they're going to become a productive citizen in our world, and they're going to want to appreciate and they're going to want to be a leader with our environment and our environmental issues, and be a leader with solving problems, because we don't know what our future holds, and we want to build our children that are going to be productive and amazing environmentalists. These projects that we develop with a partnership with MOCA, they are so essential because they give the children the skills of problem solving, that collaborative piece, working creatively, and it really gives them memories of things to attach everything that they're learning in the classroom and transfer that, and it really gives them that bond that they have with each other. Remember when in 4th and 5th grade when we worked with MOCA, we made a sculpture. Remember when we went to the MOCA? Those are the experiences that they remember. SOLs are very important, but these are the experiences that mold them and to create future students that are problem solvers and critical thinkers.
I would love for my students to leave my room with the ability to look for and see joy, and to find the things that they care about, and to be more observant in their natural world, to go out and notice the way the light is hitting something, or that the leaves are falling off of the trees, and to feel sad because they saw a piece of trash on the ground and maybe actually go pick it up If they decide they want to go off and, pursue art, that's fabulous, but I really would love for them to be curious and brave and keep that risk-taking personality that says, but what if? For my students, I really want them to have that opportunity to play and to experiment, to explore things, to figure out what they like and what they do not like, and just to actually experience things, because most of the time they're being told what to think and what the correct answers are, and that there's a specific outcome. And just to be willing to take those risks and chances and work through something when they are uncomfortable is what I really wish for them.
The amount of growth that I've had as like a person and what I believe and how I want to live my life and all those things like moving forward I can attribute a lot of that growth to working with MOCA and working with Seatack.
I think on the surface level, it's really easy to see the deliverables of this project, the nature journals and the sculpture, and those could have been the end goal, right? But for us, I think it was always about the journey for the students and showing them what sort of a merge in a scientific and artistic process could look like. And I wanted this project, and particularly the topic that we're exploring with this project of trying to create empathy and understanding for our natural world, for that to be the thing that they carry with them.
Representation makes a big difference, and also being given opportunities make a huge difference in the sense that being given this opportunity to make something for MOCA, this is a legitimate museum, right? It's an amazing museum, but also to have your work there at 10, that's crazy. I didn't have my work at MOCA at 10, Representation for them in the sense of having that outlet is amazing because they're showing other children that they can do this too. But also representation, racially speaking, it's like seeing me do something similar to what they want to do. They also have this vision that they can do it too. And it shows that they can achieve whatever they want to do with just determination and grit. Especially at 10, to be told that people are listening to you, that you are being heard, that you are being seen, that's important. That's very important. That's when it matters, To be told that you're seen, to be told that you're heard, that you're appreciated, that your voice matters. At 10, that's very pivotal.
We want them to become empathetic, considerate citizens of our community. If these are tomorrow's leaders, we want them to sort of have this foundational understanding of why the natural world is valuable.